Hey guys, this is Zlewikk and welcome back to Tinto Talks, where we are discussing the future of EU5, so the yet announced game. And today I think it's one of the biggest and most interesting dev days that we're gonna discuss because this was a huge change compared to EU4. So we're gonna discuss how they're gonna approach technology and what they did to national ideas and idea groups. First of all, we're getting a screen of probably like some general menu that we'll be having in game. Like you see there's government, economy, probably your characters, diplomacy, your military. This is most probably societal values and the technologies. Here we've got advances, that's how it's called. And we've got, you see, 91 advances in just Age of Renaissance, and probably each of the ages is bringing around 100 of this. We're seeing what we are currently discovering, our current speed of discovering the technologies, and what is to discover. And then you see in the research, we've got a whole queue of the things that we plan to do. The scholarly treatise, cultured overship, classic scholasticism, and the other stuff, including peasant levy. What were different effects from the technology levels and ideas are now called advances in EU5. Advances can unlock new diplomacy units, abilities for units, character actions, subjects interactions, estate privileges, laws, policies, inheritance systems, casus bellis, government forms, cabinet actions, buildings, levels for the buildings, and production methods. An advance can unlock mechanics like investing in stability, building roads, collecting taxes, and much more. But last but not least, advances can also give you important stats like more literacy for your nobles or better military tactics. So pretty much majority part of your game will be played around advances, as most of the stuff that you were having in the technologies, in the idea groups, will be here, even national ideas, which you'll see in a second. This looks like an advancement tree, and I don't know what are your thoughts, guys, but the first thing I have in mind when looking at this is civilization. Because this looks very much like civilization, but also Victoria 3 had this kind of trees, right? Johan said around 30% of your advances will be very specific for your country. So you see that this must be Mamluks, and advances specific for the Mamluks are marked with their color or with purple color and their flag, which is actually a pretty nice UI. Oh yeah, you can't see it. See it? It's above me. And there it is. About 70% of all advances in a tree tend to be common for every country, but the rest depends entirely on which country you're playing. Over 1/3 of the advances in a tree in Age of Renaissance and Age of Discovery does not require any institutions to reach, and then the institutions will be very important to get specific advances. And you know, this 30% of advances that are not common are depending on the tag, government reform, religion, and a couple of different stuff that are very specific for your country. So this is part of the tree that is unlocked by meritocracy, for example, and meritocracy is an institution, right? We also took a look at the national ideas and adapted that to advances. Some of them made no sense and were lost, but in general the starting bonuses ended up as the two Age of Traditions advances you start with already researched, so it's kind of a tradition that you had in EU4. Right now it will be an advance that you'll be starting with, and the rest is spread over the rest of the ages. With that, with what was the finishing bonus is an advance in Age of Revolutions. And I think this is, and it's also mentioned here, in many cases they have been moved to the appropriate time as well, so currently many unique and powerful Swedish advances are in Age of Absolutism. And this is probably amazing change. I mean, for the gameplay wise it's gonna be harder, but many people were like saying in the past, right, why would Prussia have all of these bonuses while finishing their national ideas? You can finish your national ideas in EU4, you were like what, 1530, 1540? This doesn't make much sense. So moving these bonuses to appropriate ages makes it way better and might push you to actually play the whole game, not just the first 100 years like in EU4. And you see here one of the 16 unique advances that Poland is having so far is Grosz Krakowski, which is just a currency that was minted in Poland. This also mentioned some of the ideas from the idea groups end up directly as advances unique for certain types of countries, like the horde government ones. So instead of horde ideas, we got advances for horde governments, instead of divine ideas, you have advances for theocracies, etc. However, most of the ideas ended up being sorted into admin, diplo, and military focuses, with at least 10 in each country for every age. So what is gonna replace the national ideas? How many of them? We had 8, and is gonna be focuses in specific ages. So where there's like 7 or 8 ages from what I remember, I think 7 ages. Each age will be having one of the 3 focuses to pick: admin, diplo, and military. So kind of like you were choosing ideas for every unlocked slot. So now we're gonna unlock it with every age, and each of the focuses, admin, diplo, military, I love this UI by the way guys, is gonna give you a set of bonuses like you're getting from idea groups in EU4. And I think guys, this is my favorite screen that you've got so far in the Tinto Talks. This UI is just so good. I was first to say the UI was terrible, but this is so good. I'm in love with this. At the start of an age, the tree is populated with the advances depending on what your country is at the time as well. So you'll only get relevant advances to choose from it on that age. If you switch tax, this is also important. If you switch tax or change your religion, government form, or culture, I did not mention culture, but as soon as it's gonna be possible, you'll get the new advances specific for this tag, religion, etc. only from the next age, not the current age where you change to your tag. And this might be up for discussion, guys, because yeah, it might slow down how the gameplay goes, and like you form a nation at the beginning of one age and you have to wait the whole age to get the bonuses out of it. It might not be fun. But on the other hand, they probably want to slow down modifiers stacking, like forming 3 different nations in one age to grab all of their bonuses, which would be OP. But players love to do that, so that, again, if you feel otherwise, as they said, mention that in the comment section. Then they are mentioning how they're gonna do the whole gameplay between the new world and the old world. So there'll be a lot of advances that will be locked for the new world because, for example, they don't have access to horses or to feudalism, and it's gonna shape the long-term gameplay between these 2 areas. Each advance has a research cost that is the same for almost all of advances. There are a few keystone advances such as region alphabet that are far more costly. Every country generates research each month, which is paid directly into the advance you are currently researching. You can also save up to 1 year of the research if you don't pick anything. The amount of research you do depends on what type of country you are, if you are a settled country or still nomadic group of pops, and on the power of your liturgical language. What impacts this as well as satisfaction of your clergy as well as the overall literacy of the country. And I'm not so sure about the overall literacy of the country because how peasants impact research speed, right? But I assume they have some kind of system to make it okay. What's important for a lot of people, this can be also automated, so the AI keeps picking all of this stuff. If you just want, for example, to play only with your trade or only with the conquest and the troops, and let the AI keep the researches, but it is cool to micromanage this kind of stuff. At least for me, I love doing this. But yeah, guys, this is all for today. Next week we'll discuss about another amazing feature, hopefully, we don't know yet, which is exploration. But before we finish, I want to go through the feedback in the comment section. If there are advances tied to religion or government, what happens if you change religion or government? Will you lose these advances, or they are replaced or kept? You're gonna keep the advances that you already took, but as said, you only take the new ones for the new religion or country from the next age. It does still allow a lot of fun gameplays, like in EU4, where you are forming specific nations for specific ages to get their advances. So instead of having fixed set of national ideas, you can choose those yourself over time, with some nations leaving some extra unique options for that nation. That's one description. Yes, the design is that you will not be able to catch them all in all trees. Yeah, that probably are gonna be some kind of endgame DAX. If national ideas are advances now, does that mean they're a journeying set? Could we see it? There's no such thing really. So if you don't have specific content for your country, it means you just have nothing, no national ideas. You just have the generic advances that all of the other nations with content have, which Yeah, it hurts. I think there's some misunderstanding with discussion, so if I don't pick one focus, it means I lose all of the tech from that category, I can never research it. Johan's saying that you have to pick it, but I'm pretty sure it's a misunderstanding between these two guys. Because the 3 focuses to choose from, these are like idea groups, additional bonuses they can get. But all of the default advances, they will be still there. Like you saw there's like 100 advances with one age, but this screen showed like just 20 or 30 of them between the 3 groups. I'm 100% sure this is a misunderstanding, that's why there's so many X's. Will you eventually have most techs unlocked? And Johan is saying that the goal is that the advanced nations will have around 75-80% of the techs unlocked. So the question was gonna be like expected amount of unique advances for each of the countries. And Johan is saying that for the tag itself, they plan to have around 8 unique ones. So just like we had multiple bonuses for the national ideas in EU4, not all countries will have them, as there are an enormous amount of countries. Yeah, there's so many more tags compared to the previous game. I'm thrilled to see a departure from the linearity of EU4 with the technologies. Sure, there will be a meta and optimal choices, but hopefully we'll see a lot of viable routes, peaks, and advances, and those of different places as a result. And it's gonna take time to shape a meta. We are really trying to make sure there is many viable paths in the game. Can you still research things from the previous ages once you go to the next age? Yes, and they're 33% cheaper because you are lagging behind in these technologies. So I think this is confirming what I said. It is like an idea group. You have all of the default advances still there. If you choose an admin focus, you still get the military advances that are default. Just not in this idea group. Well, I'm calling that so you can, it's just easier for me and for you to understand, right? Because it's kind of similar to EU4. I think it's a good system. I don't know why people are mouthing about it. How many advances of 90 would the average country research before the end of the age? Around 70-75. And you are saying that it takes around 1 to 3 years to research one advance. How are you guys moving going from ducats to all other different currencies to be introduced? No, there will be still ducats as a default currency. This is actually super interesting. And the guy is asking if this advances focuses for each age is gonna be always the same, and Johan is saying that some of these trees, so these idea groups, some of the advances in these idea groups are randomized. But is it randomized differently for each game, that each country is gonna have the same randomized ideas? Or is it randomized for each country separately? Because if it's randomized for each country separately, RNG is gonna be a big factor. Yes, and Johan's saying I'm right. So the question is, if I pick diplomacy focus, you'll not be able to research any military advances. No, you just don't get this 10 extra military bonuses from the idea group, and you still have all of the other military ones to pick. Told you. Again, again, this selection is about like 10 advances out of 100 that you get in the age. Treated not as advances, they should change probably the naming. Idea groups. But hey guys, I think this is where I'm gonna finish. Let me know what you think about this advanced system, and I think it's a good path to make the game less linear than EU4. And unlike some of the people in the forum, I do like this new idea group system. But let me know what you think in the comment section, and obviously help me by liking this video to get to more people, and subscribe to the channel to get notified about the future content. Bye!